Have you ever felt like your energy just isn't what it used to be? Maybe you wake up feeling stiff, your muscles don't bounce back like they once did, or by mid-afternoon, you're already ready for a nap. You're not alone. As we age, our bodies go through changes that make it harder to stay strong and active. But here's the good news. With the right nutrients, you can keep your body fueled, your energy high, and your strength intact, no matter your age. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I already eat pretty healthy. Do I really need to change anything? The truth is, even if you're eating well, your body's ability to absorb and use nutrients isn't the same as it was when you were younger. That's why making a few small but powerful changes to your diet can make all the difference in how you feel every day. Today, we're talking about 6 essential nutrients that every senior needs to stay strong, active, and full of life. Let's start with one that most people don't think about until they start feeling weak: protein. You might associate protein with bodybuilders or athletes, but here's the thing. After 60, your muscles naturally start to shrink if you're not getting enough of it. This process, called sarcopenia, can lead to weakness, poor balance, and even an increased risk of falls. And we all know that a bad fall can change everything. But the right amount of protein can help you keep your strength, support your bones, and even boost your immune system. So, how much protein do you actually need? Experts say that older adults should aim for at least 0.6 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight each day. That means if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be getting at least 90 to 120 grams of protein daily. Now, if that sounds like a lot, don't worry. I'm not saying you need to start eating steak 3 times a day. There are plenty of easy, delicious ways to get more protein into your meals without overhauling your diet. Eggs are a fantastic source of protein and incredibly easy to prepare. Greek yogurt is another great option, packed with both protein and probiotics to help with digestion. And if you're a fan of beans, lentils, or tofu, those are excellent plant-based choices that are packed with protein and fiber. Here's a simple trick. Make sure every meal has a source of protein. Whether it's eggs for breakfast, chicken or fish for lunch, or a hearty bean soup for dinner, this one habit can make a big difference in how strong and energized you feel. But protein isn't the only thing your muscles and bones need. There's another nutrient that often gets overlooked, but without it, your body can't actually use all that protein properly. And that's vitamin D. Vitamin D is often called the sunshine vitamin, because your body produces it when your skin is exposed to sunlight. But as we age, 2 things happen. First, our skin becomes less efficient at making vitamin D from sunlight. And second, many of us simply aren't getting outside as much as we used to. If you spend most of your time indoors, wear sunscreen all the time, or live in an area with long winters, you're probably not getting enough vitamin D. And why does that matter? Because vitamin D is absolutely essential for keeping your bones strong and preventing fractures. It also plays a major role in keeping your immune system working properly and even helps with muscle function, reducing the risk of falls. The problem is, a lot of seniors don't realize they're deficient in vitamin D. You might just feel a little more tired than usual, or you might notice some muscle pain or weakness. But over time, low vitamin D levels can lead to osteoporosis, a condition that makes your bones weak and fragile. So, how do you make sure you're getting enough? The easiest way is to spend about 15 to 30 minutes outside in the sunlight each day, if possible. But if you live in a place where that's not realistic, or if your doctor has told you that your vitamin D levels are low, a supplement might be necessary. The general recommendation for seniors is to get 800 to 2000 IU of vitamin D per day, depending on your individual needs. You can also get vitamin D from foods like salmon, fortified milk, and eggs, but many people find that they still need a supplement to reach optimal levels. Now, you might be wondering, if I'm getting more protein and vitamin D, won't that be enough to keep my muscles and bones strong? Well, not quite. There's another essential nutrient that works with vitamin D to protect your bones and muscles, and without it, your body can't fully absorb calcium. This nutrient is something most people don't think about much, but it plays a huge role in staying strong and active. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Now, if vitamin D is the key that helps your body absorb calcium, then calcium itself is the foundation that keeps your bones strong. And while most people know that calcium is important, a lot of seniors aren't actually getting enough of it. The reason: as we get older, our bones naturally lose density. This means they become more fragile, making fractures and breaks more likely, even from something as simple as a small trip or fall. But here's the thing. Calcium doesn't just keep your bones strong. It also plays a huge role in muscle function, nerve signaling, and even heart health. When your body doesn't get enough calcium from your diet, it starts pulling it from your bones, slowly weakening them over time. That's why making sure you're getting enough calcium every single day is one of the smartest things you can do to stay active and independent. So, how much calcium do you actually need? Experts recommend that adults over 50 should aim for 1,200 milligrams of calcium per day. But here's the tricky part. Calcium is best absorbed in smaller amounts throughout the day, so taking it all at once isn't as effective. Instead, it's best to spread it out across meals. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I drink milk, isn't that enough? While dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt are excellent sources of calcium, they're not the only options. If you're not a big fan of dairy or if you're lactose intolerant, there are plenty of other ways to get calcium. Leafy greens like kale and spinach, nuts like almonds, and even certain fish like sardines and salmon, with the bones, are all packed with calcium. And many foods, like orange juice and cereals, are fortified with extra calcium to help fill in the gaps. If you're still struggling to get enough from food alone, your doctor might recommend a calcium supplement. But here's something important to remember. Calcium works best when it's paired with vitamin D. That's why you'll often see calcium supplements that include vitamin D, because without it, your body can't absorb the calcium properly. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I've got my protein, vitamin D, and calcium covered. That should be enough to keep me strong, right? Well, there's one more nutrient that's just as crucial, but hardly anyone talks about it. And if you're not getting enough of it, your bones, joints, and even your energy levels can suffer. And that's magnesium. Magnesium is one of those silent heroes in your body. It helps regulate over 300 different functions, from keeping your heart beating steadily to supporting your muscles and nerves. But here's why it's so important as you get older. Magnesium helps your body use calcium properly. Without enough magnesium, calcium can build up in the wrong places, like your arteries, instead of being absorbed into your bones. And there's more. Magnesium also plays a role in reducing inflammation, which is a huge factor in joint pain and stiffness. If you ever wake up with aching muscles, cramping legs, or stiffness that takes forever to go away, low magnesium might be the reason. It's also essential for keeping your energy levels steady throughout the day. If you've been feeling drained or fatigued, even after a good night's sleep, you might be running low on magnesium. The problem: most people aren't getting enough. Some of the best sources of magnesium include nuts, seeds, whole grains, dark leafy greens, and even dark chocolate. Yes, really. But because soil depletion has lowered the magnesium content in many foods, a lot of seniors find that they still need to supplement. The recommended daily intake for magnesium is around 400 milligrams for men and 320 milligrams for women. Now, if you're thinking of taking a magnesium supplement, there's one thing to watch out for. Certain forms of magnesium, like magnesium oxide, aren't absorbed very well and can cause digestive issues. Instead, look for magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate, which are much easier for your body to absorb. So now, we've covered protein, vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium. 4 powerful nutrients that can keep your muscles, bones, and energy levels strong. But there are still 2 more that are just as important, especially for your brain and heart health. Now that we've talked about protein, vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium, nutrients that keep your muscles, bones, and energy levels strong, it's time to focus on something just as important: keeping your heart and brain healthy. Because let's be honest, what's the point of having strong muscles if your heart isn't working properly or if your memory starts slipping? That brings us to our 5th essential nutrient: omega-3 fatty acids. You've probably heard about omega-3s before, but most people don't realize just how crucial they are as we get older. These healthy fats are a game changer for brain health, heart function, and even joint pain. They help reduce inflammation, keep your blood flowing smoothly, and protect your brain from age-related decline. If you've been struggling with memory lapses, brain fog, or trouble concentrating, it could be because your brain isn't getting enough omega-3s. Studies have shown that people who consume higher amounts of omega-3s have a lower risk of developing Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. These healthy fats help keep your brain cells flexible, allowing them to communicate better, which means sharper thinking, better recall, and a reduced risk of memory loss. But omega-3s aren't just good for your brain, they're also one of the best things you can do for your heart. They help lower bad cholesterol, reduce blood pressure, and keep your arteries from getting clogged. In fact, people who eat enough omega-3s have a lower risk of heart attacks and strokes. So where can you get them? The best sources are fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and tuna. If you're not a big fan of fish, you can also get omega-3s from flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, and algae-based supplements. But here's something important. Not all omega-3 supplements are created equal. If you're considering a supplement, make sure it contains EPA and DHA, the two most powerful forms of omega-3s that your body can easily use. The recommended daily amount is about 1,000 milligrams, but if you have heart concerns, your doctor might suggest even more. Now, before we move on to the last essential nutrient, let's pause for a second. By now, you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of things to keep track of. Do I really need all of this? The answer is simple. Yes, but don't feel overwhelmed. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Just start small. Maybe add an extra serving of fish each week, swap your regular snacks for a handful of nuts, or start taking a short walk in the sunshine to boost your vitamin D. Every little change adds up. And that brings us to the final must-have nutrient for staying strong and active: fiber. Most people think of fiber as just something that helps with digestion, but it does so much more than that. Yes, fiber keeps things moving in your gut and prevents constipation, but it also supports heart health, stabilizes blood sugar, and even helps with weight management. As we get older, our metabolism slows down. That means the same foods you used to eat without a problem might start causing bloating, sluggishness, or weight gain. But fiber helps regulate your digestion, keeping you fuller for longer and preventing blood sugar spikes that can lead to fatigue and cravings. And here's something really important. Fiber is one of your biggest allies in protecting your heart. It helps lower cholesterol, reduces blood pressure, and keeps your arteries clear. People who eat a high-fiber diet have a much lower risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even certain cancers. So how much fiber do you need? Experts recommend at least 25 to 30 grams per day, but most people only get about half of that. The best sources of fiber include fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes. If you're looking for easy ways to add more fiber, try oatmeal for breakfast, a handful of almonds as a snack, or adding beans to your soups and salads. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but won't fiber cause bloating or stomach issues? If you suddenly increase your fiber intake all at once, yes, it might. That's why it's important to increase it gradually and drink plenty of water to help your body adjust. And that brings us to the most important part of all: putting everything together. You now know the 6 essential nutrients that can keep you strong, active, and full of energy: protein, vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, omega-3s, and fiber. But how do you make sure you're actually getting enough of them every day? Now that we've covered the 6 essential nutrients, protein, vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, omega-3s, and fiber, the big question is, how do you actually make sure you're getting enough of them in your daily routine? Because let's be honest, knowing what you need is one thing, but putting it into action? That's where most people struggle. And it's not your fault. Between grocery shopping, meal prep, and making sure you're eating a balanced diet, it can feel overwhelming. But here's the good news. Small, simple changes can make a huge difference. You don't need a complete diet overhaul, you just need to build better habits, one step at a time. So let's start with protein, because if there's one nutrient that can help you maintain strength, energy, and independence as you age, this is it. The easiest way to ensure you're getting enough protein is to build your meals around it. Instead of thinking of protein as a side dish, make it the star of your plate. For example, if you're having toast for breakfast, try adding a couple of eggs. If you're having a salad for lunch, toss in some grilled chicken, salmon, or beans. And if you love snacking, swap out the chips and crackers for Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a handful of almonds. Another trick? Keep high-protein snacks on hand so you don't have to think too much about it. Hard-boiled eggs, cheese sticks, nut butter on whole grain toast, these little changes add up over time. And if you ever feel like you're not getting enough protein through food, You can also consider a protein shake made with a high-quality whey or plant-based protein powder. Now, let's talk about vitamin D and calcium, because these two go hand in hand. One of the easiest ways to boost both at the same time is to include more dairy or fortified foods in your diet. If you drink milk, go for fortified milk or plant-based alternatives like almond or soy milk that have added calcium and vitamin D. Yogurt and cheese are also great options. But if dairy isn't your thing, you can get calcium from leafy greens like kale, spinach, and bok choy, while vitamin D comes from fatty fish like salmon or sardines. And don't forget about sunshine. If you can, try to spend at least 15 to 30 minutes outdoors every day, whether it's taking a short walk, sitting on your porch, or even gardening. Just that little bit of exposure can help your body naturally produce vitamin D. But if you live in a place where sunlight is limited, especially in the winter, consider talking to your doctor about a vitamin D supplement to make sure you're not running low. Now, moving on to magnesium. This is a big one that most people don't even realize they're missing. The best way to get more magnesium is to incorporate magnesium-rich foods into your daily diet. Some of the best sources are nuts and seeds, dark leafy greens, whole grains, and even dark chocolate. That's right, you have an excuse to eat a little bit of dark chocolate every day. Just make sure it's at least 70% cocoa for the best benefits. If you often experience muscle cramps, trouble sleeping, or fatigue, it could be a sign that your magnesium levels are low. And while you can get magnesium from food, some people find that they feel a lot better when they take a supplement, especially before bed. Magnesium glycinate or citrate is a great option because it's easier for your body to absorb and doesn't cause digestive issues like some other forms do. Now, let's make omega-3s easier to get into your routine. The best way. Start with just 2 servings of fatty fish per week. Salmon, tuna, mackerel, sardines. These are all fantastic sources of omega-3s that can help protect your heart and brain. But if fish isn't something you eat often, you can also get omega-3s from flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, and algae-based supplements. And here's a quick tip. If you're taking a fish oil supplement, make sure it contains both EPA and DHA, and check for one that's purified to remove any heavy metals. Taking it with a meal that has fat, like avocado, nuts, or olive oil, can help your body absorb it better. Finally, we have fiber, which is essential for digestion, heart health, and keeping your blood sugar steady. The easiest way to get more fiber? Make one simple swap in each meal. Instead of white bread, go for whole grain. Instead of regular pasta, try whole wheat or legume-based pasta. And instead of sugary cereals, start your day with oatmeal, bran, or a smoothie packed with berries, chia seeds, and spinach. Another great trick? Add beans or lentils to your meals. They're packed with fiber and protein, and they help keep you full for longer. If you're not used to eating a lot of fiber, just start slowly and drink plenty of water to avoid any digestive discomfort. Now, let's talk about how to make all of this a habit, because knowing what to eat is one thing, but actually remembering to do it every day. That's where the real challenge is. By now, you know exactly which 6 nutrients are essential for keeping your body strong, your mind sharp, and your energy levels high. Protein, vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, omega-3s, and fiber. Each one plays a key role in helping you stay active, independent, and full of life. But here's the most important thing to remember. It's not about being perfect. It's about making small, consistent choices every day that add up over time. You don't have to change everything at once. Maybe today, you focus on adding an extra source of protein to your meals. Maybe tomorrow, you take a short walk outside to get a little more vitamin D. And maybe next week, you swap out white bread for whole grain or add a handful of nuts to your snack routine. The key is to start where you are and do what you can. And if you ever feel like it's too late to make a difference, let me tell you, it's never too late. Your body is always working to heal, strengthen, and rebuild itself. No matter your age, the choices you make today will impact how you feel tomorrow, next month, and years down the road. So take care of yourself. Prioritize your health. Because the stronger and healthier you feel, the more you can enjoy the things you love, whether that's spending time with family, traveling, gardening, or simply waking up every day feeling good. And before we go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 6 nutrients do you think you need more of? What's one small change you're going to make this week? Let's start a conversation and support each other on this journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on tips to keep you feeling your best. Here's to living your healthiest, happiest life at any age.